This year, my design agency passed $2.5 million in revenue. We serve global clients, we have a massive team, and we ship world-class creative work every day. But there's one thing about this business that is kind of crazy. I literally cannot design. Okay, but a quick origin story. It was early 2023. Sina and I were thinking about creating a company together, and he was texting me every single day, Max, we need to create this design studio. He had seen the business model of a productized service in the US, and he said, Max, it's working super well. There's one guy, he's making $1 million in revenue alone, super good margins and everything. And I was like, Sina, we are not designers, we don't have any clients, how should we build this company? But ultimately he convinced me, and the thing is, we are super good at adapting. Since then, a lot has happened. We hired a lot of designers, we got a ton of clients, and Magier has become a real company since then. And ultimately we were starting into 2025 with a ton of challenges, but also a ton of opportunities. So when we started the year, our team was around 25 people. So we were growing from 10 to 25 in the previous year. We just hit $1 million in revenue, and we also got a ton of challenges. So on the one side, we were still super involved in the day-to-day as founders ourselves. There were also a lot of moving pieces. On the one side, we got new clients in different geographies, then the systems were changing, and ultimately also one of the biggest challenges, our pipeline was super uncertain. So there were some months where we were like, okay, we will be rich soon, this is awesome. And then the next months, no new clients, and we were like, oh, do we need to fire someone? Yeah, it was it was full of friction the start of the year. And at the same time, the biggest change in the company history was happening. When we initially started the company, it was named Magic Design, and now we had kind of a legal issue with a competitor, and we couldn't use the word Magic Design anymore, so we needed to rebrand. And in January of last year, we were launching the new brand Magier. I was super scared because I was running the project in the first place. I was pulling all of the designs together, the new content, but also obviously I was like, what if the team or the clients hate the new brand? On paper, we were hitting $1 million in revenue the previous year. The team grew to 25 people. So people were asking me why I was actually terrified. But the thing is, I felt like the company is super unstable. First, in terms of the revenues that we were getting in, but second up also with the processes. So I knew if we are scaling even further, some things might derail and then shit will hit the fan and it will go really crazy. Also, I was very worried because the previous year we burned money for the first quarter of the year. And ultimately, in all of this uncertainty, there was a full rebranding, new domain, new name, new everything. What if all of this would go wrong? The rebranding itself was dragging already for over 6 months, and I was really fed up because there were so many small pieces that I needed to change. You can't imagine the amount of decisions you need to make for a full rebrand. So first of all, visual. Name, all the different subpages that needed to be built. Then we had design, development, and ultimately launching everything, coming together in one specific day. This was absolutely crazy. If I look back now, obviously it was one of the best things we ever did because it gave us so much opportunities. But back then I was just frustrated and sometimes really thought, okay, let's just screw it and shut the company down. Another big thing that happened last year was our one-time project squad. Our business model design subscription was something that we were super proud of. But oftentimes we realized that we pushed clients into the subscription and it was not a 100% perfect fit, because ultimately some clients, they want a certainty about the budget, and what they wanted also was a very specific timeline. And with the subscription, what I was saying is like, okay, if everything goes right, this will take 2 months. But what the client heard was actually, okay, this is a fixed price 2 months. And then sometimes the projects took longer and the clients were coming back and said, hey, we are super unhappy because it took another month to finish. And at that moment I thought, okay, maybe we need to implement a whole squad in our company and a whole new offer where we are doing these fixed price deals. It was challenging at the same time because I thought, okay, we are design subscription, now we are doing basic agency work. But it was one of the best decisions to make because we implemented separate teams, and we also realized that oftentimes out of these one-time projects, we then create new subscription clients, and it made our work so much better. It was less of a hassle for the clients were happier, and ultimately the right thing to do. The next big turning point of the last year is actually about the culture and the team. We started the company, just Sina and me, and we were already growing to 25 people at the beginning of the year. Now, at the end of 2025, we are even almost at 40 people in the company. In the beginning, it's super easy because we as founders can shape the culture. We know everyone, and we can make sure that everyone is also aligned on where we are going. Now, there are literally people in the company that I haven't talked to for a couple of months since they joined, and it was absolutely crazy. I wanted to make sure that they are breathing the same values as all the other ones at Magier, and it got so much more challenging when you as a founder can't do everything yourself anymore. So what we did for that is the hiring was more rigorous. So we were very specific of who can join Magier. I think the ratio of people that can actually join the company is like 0.005% or something from all the applications. So it's very hard to get a job at Magier. Second up, we needed to create systems that especially work for fast-growing companies, but then we also had the second challenge. We are a remote-first company. So we have team members in 15 countries. Just think of it, it was absolutely crazy to hold everything together. For that, what we are doing, we have regular meetings like all hands, dailies, coffee chat, check-ins, so that we also have some sort of being connected to your other team members and a sense of belonging also in the company. And ultimately also, we were doing a couple of team events. So starting off with virtual team events, but then also we had the first big in-person meeting here in Berlin, where we were bringing in over 20 people from across Europe. We spent a whole weekend together. We had a boat trip, we had some co-working session, we had some nice barbecues, dinners, everything. So that was absolute turning point for the company, and also super cool for me as a founder to get everyone together and see them in person. So the next turning point was obviously not involving myself into everything. Yeah, for me personally, it was super hard because as the company scaled, it really burned me out. At the beginning of the year, I was literally zero energy because I was constantly fighting fires. I was seeing fires in the first place, and this is what really hurt me inside. Then I was trying to build processes at the same time. I was trying to win clients, and it was sometimes really challenging to get everything together. And also I realized the bigger the company gets, the more of my time was shifted from doing actual work with the clients into admin work, and it's not the most fun work for me. In the end, what we did is we separated responsibilities of me and Sina in the first place. This was super good. So Sina taking care of all of the hiring, I take care of all of the marketing and sales. And then one of the biggest changes and turning points was enabling our leadership team, Anna and Willie, to take more responsibility. And this was massive game changer because now all of the responsibilities, it's not on my or Sina's shoulders, but it's spread across multiple team members in our leadership. Last year was super challenging for me as a founder because there were also a lot of things going super wrong. One big one is client fires in general. So whenever a client is unhappy or has a problem, it really hurts me deep inside because it feels like a personal failure of me. And the thing is, when we scale clients, and now we served, I think 150 in the last year, and more people get involved, it just happens more often, to be honest. My urge is to jump in and help right away, but sometimes it's not the smartest thing to do. Sometimes I realized when I was doing it, it was dragging us even deeper into the shit because, for example, there were some clients that were unhappy about what we did, and I didn't feel like, they were a little bit correct, maybe not, and ultimately I just wanted to show them, hey, it's super good to work with Magier. So I was giving them a ton of extra work, extra hours from me, from the project managers, from designers, developers. I just wanted to be liked by them, but ultimately we spent hundreds of hours for free on these clients, and it was impossible to get them happy at some point. This is what I also realized over the course of the year. It's also okay if not everyone is super happy. Next big problem in the last year was for sure the team. So whenever you are scaling, there are some challenges around that. So yes, we did a ton of wrong hires. So people where we thought, okay, they can hit the job off, they had super good skill sets, but in the end, It was not a fit in terms of the speed of work most of the time. At Magier, everything is working super, super fast and a lot of people can't keep up with this speed. Then on the other side, we had some people quitting, and this is also super, super hard because some people were really like foundations of the business, and then they were leaving us and left an empty space that needed to be filled. But also obviously whenever there's some dynamic in the team, it reduces the trust in the team as a whole. So we needed to fill these gaps as quickly as possible. And also one thing that I sometimes heard from our team is that there was just way too much work for the people. They were super, super stressed. I mean, I also take it then personally because I want to create a great place of working where everyone feels appreciated and is spending a good time of their, or like a good chunk of their overall time that they are living at work, so they should be happy. So the next big loss for this year is, I think, in my overall career of building businesses, and that's now like 12, 13, 14 years, I've never been this low energy for a longer period of time. At the beginning of the year, I was really dead because I wasn't doing any proper holiday. 80-hour work weeks were the norm. And also I was making so much pressure to myself to be the best version of myself that it was super, super hard to get everything done that I wanted to do, but also through the fact that we were growing the team so quickly, I always wanted to be the best boss also for my team. Ultimately, that was challenging in combination with me feeling like, oh, okay, everything feels that it's taking super, super long. And there were so many weeklies with Sina where I said, how can we be so slow in everything? And that was super, super frustrating and took a lot of energy. Another thing that was always a little bit challenging were the ups and downs in revenue, basically. So it is still the number one problem at Magier, new business and new leads coming in. Sometimes it's going super well, sometimes it's going shit, and it's not plannable at all. So we were trying so many things. We were trying webinars, we were continuing with the LinkedIn, we were doing paid ads, and we were burning, I don't know, $10,000s even on these things. Till now, LinkedIn is still our best channel. I'm super proud of what we've built there. And there's also a ton of referral coming, but it really always scares me if the lead pipeline is very low, because then I feel like everything could collide in just like half a month or months, and then we really have some big problem. Yeah, and there were also a ton of smaller things that we didn't get done this year. So we weren't able to properly come up with the case studies. We weren't doing all of the testimonials that we wanted, and we weren't doing all of the demo work and a million other things. So this also adds up to the equation, but I guess that's also part of the game. But overall, I would say still, besides all of these challenges, 2025 was the most awesome year in my history as an entrepreneur, even I could say. If I look at Magier, everything is 10 times better than the year before. We have better processes, we have better quality, we have a better team, we have higher ambitions than before. My involvement in the day-to-day is less than I could have ever imagined. We have 6 new projects for our clients, referrals are on a new high, and the best thing is I was traveling the world to see some of our team members. I was doing proper holidays. Then I went with Willy to New York for Webflow conference. So we started off with Webflow as a very small partner 2 years ago. Now we were well known with all of the big companies in there. We had some awesome client brand launches, so completely new brands, rebrandings, and also assets that we have been seeing across billboards, but also the digital world. Then we were organizing our first Magier Head of Marketing CMO dinner, so that was super sick. We launched the new brand, and today here we are even in a new office. So just having a cool small hub here in Berlin to work together is super sick. So ton of learnings obviously from this year. First of all, building an empire takes time, so I learned to be a little bit more patient in the things that I'm doing. Second up, I realized that the team and the people that I surround myself with is the most important thing. If I hire the correct person, everything gets 10 times easier. In the end, my job as a founder is to get the best people on board, equip them with whatever they need to do their best work, and then remove myself out of the equation. So that was 2025, but let's talk about 2026. As I said, ambitions are higher than ever. We want to double the revenue. We want to become more global. We want to grow the team, the projects, and in the end also become a little bit more stable through the size. And ultimate demon, like fix our marketing and sales pipeline, get more leads, get more inbound pipeline, to be able to say yes to a lot of projects, but also to say no to a lot of projects that are not a perfect fit. And for me personally, I should get even more out of the way so that the team can actually do their best work.